power of pulling back your energy. When you decide to step back, not with explosive anger, but with a profound and deliberate silence, you fundamentally alter the space around you. It's a subtle but powerful shift. Your absence, once a void, becomes a tangible presence, a weight that settles in the room. People feel this shift in the atmosphere long before their minds can process what has changed. They sense a sudden cold where there once was warmth, a quiet where there once was engagement. This is the moment your silence begins its work, exposing the uncomfortable truths that the constant noise of interaction used to conveniently hide. In the sudden stillness, there is no escape. The distractions are gone. The easy back and forth that papered over deeper issues has ceased. Your silence acts as an unexpected and unflinching mirror, compelling others to confront the reflection of their own behavior. Without your words to argue against, to deflect, or to blame, they are left alone with their actions and the consequences that have now bloomed in the quiet. It's in this space that true reflection is not just invited, but demanded. They are forced to ask themselves, what role did I play in this? Why has this person withdrawn? What was I failing to see when they were still present? This strategic withdrawal of energy is often misunderstood. It is not a sign of weakness, nor is it a petty, passive-aggressive tactic designed to punish. On the contrary, it is one of the most potent forms of self-respect and a powerful catalyst for change. It is a conscious decision to stop pouring your energy into a dynamic that has become draining, unproductive, or disrespectful. It's a declaration that says, I will no longer participate in what harms my peace. This is not about running away from a problem. It is about refusing to fuel a fire that is burning you out. Think of your energy as a currency. Every day you choose where to invest it. When you consistently invest it in people or situations that offer no positive return, no reciprocity, no growth, you are essentially bankrupting yourself. Pulling back is the act of reclaiming your investment. It is an energy withdrawal, a strategic reallocation of your most valuable resource back to yourself. This act of preservation creates a vacuum where your energy once was, and it is this very vacuum that forces awareness upon others. They are suddenly confronted with the void left by the support, validation, or emotional labor you once provided freely. The discomfort they feel is not your responsibility to soothe. It is a necessary part of the process. This discomfort is the sound of the dynamic rebalancing. When you stop overextending, others are forced to learn how to stand on their own. They must now find the balance you once provided. This is where the magic happens. In your absence, they are given the opportunity to grow, to recognize their dependencies, and to understand the true value of what you brought to the table. Your silence gives them the space to discover the part of themselves that they were neglecting, a part that relied on you to complete the picture. Embrace the power of pulling back. Understand that your silence is not emptiness. It is a statement. It is a boundary drawn not with angry words, but with the quiet dignity of self-worth. It is a powerful force that commands respect without demanding it, that teaches lessons without lecturing. By withdrawing your energy, you are not losing a battle. You're changing the entire battlefield. You are reclaiming your power, nurturing your peace, and allowing the silence to speak the volumes that your words never could. Let your absence be a teacher, a mirror, and a guide. In the quiet, you will find your strength, and they will find the clarity they were missing. This isn't about winning or losing. It's about honoring yourself. It is a profound act of love for yourself, and paradoxically, a potential gift of growth for others. When you pull back, you create the necessary space for everyone involved to see things as they are, not as they were masked by the noise. Silence, in this context, is not the end of communication. It is the beginning of a more honest and meaningful one. Ever feel like the loudest person in the room is the one who wins? What if I told you the opposite is true? That the most powerful person is often the quietest. We're taught to speak up, to be heard, to fight for the floor. But what if we've been overlooking one of the most potent tools we all possess? The power of silence. Think about it. In a heated negotiation, a tense argument, or even a casual conversation, what happens when someone stops talking? The air changes. There's a sudden vacuum, a space that begs to be filled. And who usually rushes to fill it? The other person. They get nervous. They start rambling, revealing their thoughts. their insecurities, their true position. All because you chose to hold your tongue. This isn't about being passive or shy. This is a strategic choice. A chosen silence is an active move, a declaration of control. It says, I am comfortable in this space. I don't need to fill it with noise. I am listening, observing, and I will speak when I have something of value to say. In a world saturated with noise, where everyone is screaming for attention on social media, in meetings and in our daily lives, silence has become a superpower. It's a filter. It separates the noise from the signal, the trivial from the essential. When you speak less, your words carry more weight. People lean in, they listen, because they know when you do speak it matters. Imagine a king or a CEO. They don't need to shout to get their point across. Their presence, often marked by a calm and composed silence, is enough to command the entire room. Their silence makes others introspective. It forces them to reflect on their own words, to question their own arguments. So how do you harness this power? It starts with practice. In your next conversation, try pausing for just a few extra seconds before you respond. Instead of immediately jumping in with a counter-argument, just listen. Absorb what the other person is saying and what they're not asterisk saying. Watch their body language. Let the silence do the heavy lifting. You'll be amazed at what you discover. You'll find that you don't need to shout to shift the dynamics of a room. Your deliberate, confident silence can be the loudest, most influential voice there. It's not about winning an argument. It's about gaining understanding and commanding respect without raising your voice. You learn more, you project confidence, and you control the flow of the interaction. This isn't just for boardrooms or high-stakes negotiations. Try it with your friends, your family. By being a better listener and using silence thoughtfully, you create deeper, more meaningful connections. People feel heard and respected in your presence. So, the next time you feel the urge to fill a quiet moment, resist. Embrace the pause. Discover the incredible strength that lies not in what you say, but in what you choose not to. It's one of the most profound forms of self-mastery. Have you ever felt that surge of panic when someone pulls away? Your first instinct is to chase, to text, to call, to do something to close that gap. But what if I told you that the most powerful move you can make is to do nothing at all? Welcome to the art of strategic withdrawal. This isn't about giving someone the silent treatment or playing petty games. This is about understanding the profound difference between reacting and responding. Let's be honest, reacting is easy. It's that knee-jerk emotional response driven by fear. Your heart pounds, your mind races, and you start typing a message you'll probably regret later. It feels like you're losing control, and in that moment, you are. You're handing your power, your peace of mind, and your dignity over to someone else, waiting for them to validate you. It's an exhausting cycle that leaves you feeling drained and powerless. Strategic withdrawal, on the other hand, is the complete opposite. It's a conscious, calm, and deliberate choice. It's stepping back, not out of anger, but out of self-respect. It's choosing to observe the situation from a distance instead of getting swept up in the emotional storm. When you withdraw strategically, you're not pouting or punishing. You're creating space for you to breathe, to think clearly, and to see the situation for what it truly is. Think of it like this. When you chase someone, you're signaling that your happiness depends on them. You're putting them on a pedestal and diminishing your own value. But when you step back, you send a completely different message. You're signaling that you are whole and complete on your own. You're demonstrating that your world doesn't crumble just because someone isn't giving you attention. This isn't arrogance, it's quiet confidence. The magic of this approach is that it shifts the entire dynamic. The person who is pulling away suddenly feels the absence of your energy. They were expecting you to chase, to beg, to plead. But when you do none of those things, you become a mystery. You become intriguing. You regain your power not by demanding it, but by simply owning it. You're no longer the chaser. You are the one who is centered and secure. This isn't just about romantic relationships either. It applies to friendships, family, and even professional situations. Anytime you feel yourself slipping into a reactive state, pause, take a deep breath. Ask yourself, am I about to react, or can I choose to respond? Reacting is emotional and impulsive. Responding is thoughtful and intentional. So how do you practice this? It starts with recognizing your triggers. When you feel that familiar anxiety creeping in, acknowledge it. Then make a conscious decision to step back. Go for a walk. Call a friend. Work on a project you love. Do anything that reconnects you with your own sense of self-worth. You're not ignoring the problem. You're just refusing to let it control you. You're choosing to gain control by not trying to control the outcome. The lesson here is simple but profound. The one who doesn't chase or beg holds the real power. It's the power of self-possession. It's the power of knowing your worth isn't up for negotiation. When you master the art of strategic withdrawal, you stop playing games and start living from a place of authentic strength. You teach people how to treat you by showing them you woe and settle for anything less than respect. Ever feel like you're trapped in this cycle of being constantly available? I mean, it's like your phone buzzes and bam, there's this immediate pressure to reply, right? Friend hits you up for a last-minute favor, and even though you're knee-deep in work, you drop everything to help out. You're the go-to person, the reliable one, and that's kind of awesome. But have you ever paused to think about what it's really costing you? Let's be real. When you're always on call, it can drain your energy and leave you feeling stretched thin. You might miss out on those precious moments of downtime, or even that much-needed self-care. Think about it. When was the last time you just relaxed without feeling guilty about not responding to a text or email? It's like we're living in this constant state of urgency, and honestly, it's exhausting. So how do we break free from this cycle and reclaim our time? What do you think? Think about it this way. When you're always there for everyone, every single time, your presence stops being a special gift and starts becoming an expectation. It's like having your favorite song as your morning alarm. At first, you love it, but soon enough, it just becomes background noise. You stop truly hearing it. In the same way, when you're perpetually available, people can unintentionally start taking your time, your energy, and your kindness for granted. It's not that they're bad people, it's just human nature. What's always there often gets overlooked. The hard truth is that over-availability devalues your worth. It's not your inherent worth as a person, of course, but the perceived value of your time and effort in the eyes of others. When you give away your energy freely and without boundaries, you're subconsciously teaching people that your resources are infinite and don't require much consideration. You become the go-to person for every little thing, which can leave you feeling drained, resentful, and spread incredibly thin. Your own needs, goals, and peace of mind get pushed to the back burner. So, how do we escape this trap? It starts with a simple but powerful shift in mindset, recognizing that your time is your most valuable, non-renewable resource. It's okay to not reply to a text message immediately. It's okay to say, "I'd love to help, but I can't right now." This isn't being selfish, it's being self-preserving. Setting boundaries isn't about pushing people away, about teaching them how to respect your space and energy. You're showing them that your time is valuable, and that when you do choose to give it, it's a conscious, meaningful act. When you start to be more intentional with your availability, something amazing happens. People start to appreciate your presence more. When you show up, it's a deliberate choice, not an automatic response. Your yes becomes more powerful because it's balanced by the possibility of a no. You reclaim your energy, protect your peace, and you create healthier, more respectful dynamics in your relationships. You're no longer just background noise. You are a clear, appreciated, and respected presence in your own life and the lives of others. Remember, being selectively available doesn't make you less caring. It makes the moments you are available that much more special. Have you ever felt like your kindness is being taken for granted? Like you're the one always smoothing things over, always offering the first apology, always rushing to fix things after a disagreement? It's a heavy burden to carry, and it often stems from a good heart. You believe in forgiveness, in mending fences, in keeping the peace. But what happens when that beautiful quality is turned against you? Here's a tough truth. If someone in your life knows with absolute certainty that you will always be the one to forgive, to fix, to make things right, they can stop respecting you. It's not always malicious, not always a grand evil plan. It's simpler, and in some ways, more insidious than that. Your kindness, your reliability, your deep-seated desire for harmony, it becomes a tool. Not for them to control you necessarily, but for their own comfort. They know that no matter what they do, no matter how they act, you will eventually absorb the impact. The emotional safety net is always there, and you're the one holding it. Think about it. An emotional manipulator doesn't always need to exert overt control. They don't need to be loud or demanding. Often their greatest power source is simply your predictability. They know your script, so they say something hurtful, and they predict you'll be upset for a while, but then you'll come around because you hate conflict. They ignore your needs, and they predict you'll eventually stop asking because you don't want to be a bother. They cross a boundary, and they predict you'll forgive them because you value the relationship more than the boundary itself. Your reactions are a known quantity, a reliable pattern they can count on. They don't have to change, because they know you will always do the emotional work for both of you. This dynamic slowly erodes your self-worth. You start to feel like a doormat, unseen and unheard. Your own needs get pushed to the background, and your emotional energy is constantly drained by managing someone else's behavior and the fallout from it. The relationship becomes a one-way street where you give and they take, all because your good nature has become predictable. So how do you break this draining cycle? The answer isn't to become unkind or cold. It's to become unpredictable. You have to disrupt the pattern. You have to change your part in the dance. This is where the real shift happens. It's not about big, dramatic confrontations. It's about small, powerful changes in your reactions. The next time a situation arises where you'd normally rush to fix things, don't. Just pause. The next time you expected to offer an immediate apology for a conflict you didn't even start, stay silent. This isn't about giving the silent treatment as a punishment. It's about giving yourself space to process without immediately jumping into your old role. Stay calm. When they expect an emotional outburst, respond with quiet observation. When they expect you to chase them, stay put. This unpredictability is incredibly powerful. It forces the other person to confront a situation without their usual safety net. They can't rely on your script anymore. Suddenly they have to think about their own actions and the consequences. They have to deal with the discomfort they've created, instead of just waiting for you to clean it up. By staying calm, staying silent, and staying unpredictable, you are not playing a game. You are reclaiming your power. You are teaching others how you deserve to be treated. You are showing them, and more importantly, yourself, that your kindness is a gift, not a guarantee. You are breaking the cycle of emotional dependency and stepping into a space of self-respect. It will feel uncomfortable at first. Your old habits will scream at you to go back to what's familiar. But hold firm. Your peace is worth more than their comfort. Ever felt overwhelmed by life's ups and downs? Well, today, we're diving deep into the art of detachment. This concept isn't just about letting go. It's about finding your inner strength. Imagine facing challenges without letting them define you. Think of it like watching a movie you're involved, but you know it's just a story. It's a powerful way to navigate through stress and anxiety, allowing you to respond rather than react. Trust me, mastering this art can truly transform your perspective on life's roller coaster. We often believe that to have peace, we need to be in control. We try to manage every situation, predict every outcome, and influence every person around us. We meticulously plan and strategize, thinking that if we can just steer everything in the right direction, we'll finally feel calm and secure. But what if I told you that this constant struggle for control is actually the very thing robbing you of your peace? Think about it. The more we try to control the uncontrollable other people's actions, their opinions, the unpredictable flow of life, the more anxious and frustrated we become. We're constantly reacting to things outside of our influence, getting pulled into emotional storms that aren't even ours to begin with. It's exhausting, isn't it? This is where the art of detachment comes in. Peace doesn't come from control. It comes from non-reactivity. It's about learning to observe what's happening without immediately being swept away by it. Imagine someone says something to provoke you. Your typical, predictable reaction might be to get defensive, to argue back, to feel hurt or angry. In that moment, they have your strings. They know exactly which buttons to push to get a reaction, and by reacting, you're essentially handing them your power. You become a pawn in their game, moved around the board at their will. Now picture a different scenario. The same provocation happens, but this time, you don't react. You simply observe their words. You notice their attempt to get a rise out of you, but you choose not to engage. You remain calm, centered, and still. What happens then? Their power over you vanishes. When you stop being predictable, others lose the ability to move you. You've taken back control, not by managing them, but by mastering yourself. This brings us to a profound principle. Real strength is the silence that cannot be provoked. It's not about being passive or weak. It's the complete opposite. It's a quiet, unshakable confidence that comes from within. It's the mountain that stands firm while the winds of chaos howl around it. This kind of strength doesn't need to announce itself. It doesn't need to win arguments or prove a point. Its power lies in its stillness. So, how do we cultivate this non-reactive strength? It starts with mindfulness. Pay attention to your triggers. What situations or people consistently pull you into a reactive state? When you feel that initial emotional surge, take a breath. Create a space between the stimulus and your response. In that space lies your freedom. You can choose how to act instead of being driven by instinct. You can ask yourself, is this situation truly worth my peace? Will reacting in anger or frustration actually solve anything, or will it just escalate the problem and drain my energy? More often than not, the wisest response is no response at all. This isn't about suppressing your emotions, but rather understanding them without letting them dictate your actions. You can feel anger, but you don't have to act angrily. Practicing detachment is like building a muscle. It takes time and consistent effort. Start with small things. When someone cuts you off in traffic, practice letting it go. When you receive a critical comment online, practice observing it without feeling the need to defend yourself. Each time you choose non-reactivity, you strengthen your inner fortress of peace. Ultimately, the art of detachment allows you to reclaim your inner world. You realize that while you can't control the external world, you have absolute sovereignty over your internal state. Others can no longer use your emotions as a playground. You become the calm center of your own universe, unmoved by the drama and noise around you. This is true power. This is true freedom. Have you ever felt like you're playing a role in someone else's movie? Character shaped by your parents' dreams, your friends' expectations, or the relentless pressures of society? You follow the script, hit your marks, and deliver the lines you're supposed to say. But deep down, a quiet voice whispers, "This isn't me." You feel a sense of fragmentation, a disconnect between the person you present to the world and the person you are when no one is watching. This isn't just a fleeting feeling. It's a profound signal from your psyche, a call to embark on one of life's most crucial journeys. The great Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung gave this journey a name: individuation. It is the process of becoming whole, of discovering and integrating all the disparate parts of yourself to finally become the individual you were always meant to be. Individuation is the courageous act of becoming your true self, not the carefully curated version shaped by external forces. From a young age, we learn to adapt. We build a persona, social mask, to navigate the world effectively. This mask helps us fit in, earn approval, and avoid conflict. We highlight our most admirable qualities, our kindness, our intelligence, our ambition, and present them as our entire identity. This is what Jung called our light side. But this performance comes at a cost. In our effort to be accepted, we often push away the parts of ourselves that don't fit the ideal image. We suppress our anger, hide our insecurities, and disown our fears. These rejected aspects form what Jung termed the shadow, the unconscious repository of everything we deem unacceptable about ourselves. Living this way is exhausting, like constantly holding your breath. The goal of individuation is to finally exhale, to stop being who others expect you to be and start becoming who you truly are. The journey toward wholeness begins with a conscious decision to turn inward and confront this division. It's about having the courage to look beyond the polished facade and acknowledge the existence of your shadow. This doesn't mean unleashing your darkest impulses on the world. Instead, it means integrating your light and shadow with compassion and understanding. It's recognizing that your vulnerability is not a weakness, but a source of connection. It's accepting that your anger can be a powerful catalyst for setting boundaries and demanding respect. Your fears might point to areas where you need to grow, and your perceived flaws are often just misunderstood strengths. Authenticity isn't about being perfect. It's about being complete. It requires you to embrace the full spectrum of your humanity, the beautiful and the messy, the brilliant and the broken. It's a shift from performance to presence. This integration is the heart of becoming an individual. It's the process of reclaiming the lost pieces of your soul and weaving them back into the fabric of your being. When you integrate your shadow, you stop projecting your disowned traits onto others. You no longer see your own hidden greed in a successful colleague or your suppressed anger in a partner's frustration. Instead, you own these parts of yourself, which paradoxically gives you more control over them. You become less reactive and more intentional. This internal union creates a stable, centered self that is not easily swayed by external validation or criticism. You are no longer a fragmented collection of roles: the perfect employee, the dutiful child, the supportive friend, but a unified, authentic whole. Your actions, thoughts, and feelings align, guided by an inner compass rather than an external script. Ultimately, individuation is not a destination you arrive at, but a lifelong process of becoming. It is a continuous dialogue between your conscious mind and the vast, mysterious depths of your unconscious. It's about peeling back the layers of conditioning to uncover the unique, irreplaceable person at your core. The goal isn't to conform to a new ideal of authenticity, but to simply be. It is to live a life where your inner world and outer expression are in harmony. It's about finding the courage to step off the stage, take off the mask, and stop performing. It's the profound and liberating journey of ceasing to be who others expect and finally becoming who you truly are. This is the ultimate act of self-creation, the path to becoming whole. This is your story to write. Have you ever felt like you're playing a part? At work, you're the super competent professional who has everything under control. With a certain group of friends, you're the life of the party, always cracking jokes. On social media, your life looks like a perfectly curated highlight reel. Each of these is a mask, a persona. It's the version of ourselves we present to the world because we think it's what people want to see. It feels safer, right? Polished, controlled, and approved. This concept isn't new. Psychologist Carl Jung called it the persona, named after the masks worn by actors in ancient Greek theater. These masks help the audience understand a character's role. And just like those actors, we wear our masks to navigate our social world. It's a survival mechanism. We want to fit in, to be accepted, to avoid judgment. So we smooth out our rough edges, hide our insecurities, and present a version of ourselves that we believe is more palatable. There's nothing inherently wrong with this. You wouldn't talk to your boss the same way you talk to your best friend, and that's just social intelligence. The problem starts when the mask becomes glued to our face. When we identify so deeply with this curated version of ourselves that we forget who we are underneath, we start believing that the mask asterisk is asterisk us. And what happens then? We feel disconnected, might achieve success, get the likes, and earn the promotions, but there's a nagging emptiness. A feeling that if people knew the asterisk real asterisk you, they wouldn't like you. This creates a constant low-level anxiety. The fear of being found out, of the mask slipping, is exhausting. You're constantly performing, managing your image, and censoring your true thoughts and feelings. You lose that spontaneous spark, that genuine joy that comes from just asterisk being asterisk. This fear of being seen also sabotages our relationships. True connection, the deep, meaningful kind we all crave, is built on vulnerability. It's built on letting someone see your flaws, your fears, your weird quirks, and having them accept you anyway. When you're hiding behind a persona, you're essentially keeping people at arm's length. They might like the mask, but they never get the chance to know and love the real you. And you, in turn, never feel truly seen or accepted. It can be a lonely place to be. So what's the alternative? Freedom. The freedom that comes from dropping the mask. I'm not saying you should storm into your office tomorrow and air all your deepest insecurities. It's a process. It starts with self-awareness. Ask yourself, when do I feel most like I'm performing? What parts of myself am I hiding? Why am I afraid to show them? Start small. Maybe share a slightly more honest opinion with a trusted friend. Perhaps admit you don't know something at work instead of pretending you do. Post something on social media that's a little less perfect and a little more real. Let the world see a crack in the polished facade. It's scary, I know. You risk judgment. You risk rejection. But here's the beautiful truth. You also risk connection. You risk being truly seen. You risk attracting people who love you for who you actually are, not for the character you're playing. The people who are meant for you will celebrate your authenticity, flaws and all, and the ones who don't. They were only ever friends with the mask anyway. Embracing your authentic self is the ultimate act of self-love, saying this is me. I am imperfect. I am still learning. I am a work in progress, but I am enough. Letting go of who you think you should be to embrace who you are. Asterisk is where true confidence is born, where you find genuine connection, inner peace, and a life that feels honest and true to its core. So, take a deep breath and slowly, gently, start to let the mask fall. Let the world see the real, flawed, but wonderful you. Have you ever felt completely drained? Like you're running on empty? Always saying yes to everyone and everything? You agree to that extra project at work? You help a friend move on your only day off? You listen to someone vent for hours, even when you're exhausted. You think you're being kind, but you're actually slowly chipping away at your own peace. This is a classic sign of weak psychological boundaries. We often believe that setting boundaries is selfish, or that saying no will make people dislike us. We confuse being nice with being a people pleaser. But here's the truth. Setting boundaries isn't about pushing people away. It's about protecting your own inner peace and energy. Imagine your mind and heart are a beautiful garden. You've worked hard to cultivate it, planting seeds of joy, peace, and self-worth. Now, if you leave the gate wide open, anyone can wander in, trample your flowers, and leave their trash behind. Boundaries are the fence around your garden. They aren't there to lock people out, but to ensure that those who enter respect the space you've created for yourself. The most powerful tool for building this fence is a tiny, two-letter word, no. We've been conditioned to see no as a negative, a rejection, a form of cruelty. But I want you to reframe this. No is not rejection. It's emotional hygiene. It's like washing your hands to get rid of germs. Saying no to things that drain you cleanses your life of unnecessary stress and resentment. Think about it. When you say yes to something you don't want to do, you're not just giving up your time. You're saying no to yourself. You're saying no to rest, no to your own hobbies, no to your mental health. Every time you please someone else at your own expense, a small part of you gets lost. Over time, you can lose sight of who you are and what you truly want. Let's be clear. This isn't about becoming a cold or unhelpful person. It's about being intentional. Healthy boundaries allow you to give from a place of genuine desire, not obligation. When you have the energy and desire to help, your yes becomes so much more powerful and meaningful. People will feel your authenticity. So how do you start? Start small. The next time someone asks for a favor you don't have the capacity for, try saying, "I'd love to help, but I can't right now." You don't need a long, elaborate excuse. No is a complete sentence. It might feel uncomfortable at first. It might feel a pang of guilt. That's normal. It's the people pleaser in you, fighting back. Breathe through it. Remind yourself this is an act of self-respect. You're not responsible for other people's reactions to your boundaries. If someone gets upset because you've protected your peace, it says more about their expectations than it does about your character. The people who truly care for you will respect your limits. Healthy boundaries are the ultimate act of self-care. They are the line that separates self-respect from people-pleasing. When you honor your own needs, you build a foundation of self-worth that no one can shake. You teach people how to treat you by showing them what you will and will not accept. You start to attract relationships that are built on mutual respect, not one-sided sacrifice. Remember the rule: no is not rejection, it's emotional hygiene. It's the key to protecting your energy, preserving your peace, and reclaiming yourself. Start building your fence today. Your future self will thank you for it. Have you ever felt like you're putting in all the effort in a relationship, a friendship, or even at work, but you're just not getting the respect or attention you deserve? You're always the first to text, always available for a last-minute plan, always saying yes to every request. It feels like the right thing to do, right? To be open, honest, and available. But what if I told you that this constant availability is actually diminishing your power and making you less interesting? Think about your favorite TV show. What keeps you hooked, desperate for the next episode? It's the suspense, the unanswered questions, the mystery. You don't know what the main character will do next, and that unpredictability is precisely what makes you invest your time and emotional energy. The same principle applies to human dynamics. When people can predict your every move, when you're an open book with no pages left unturned, the intrigue fades. You become common, and common things are often taken for granted. This isn't about playing games or being manipulative. It's about understanding the psychology of desire and respect. When something is scarce, its perceived value skyrockets. This is the law of supply and demand, and it applies to you and your energy as well. When you pull back a little, when you're not instantly reachable, it creates a vacuum. People start to wonder, what are they up to? Why aren't they responding immediately? This space allows their curiosity to grow. They start thinking about you more, investing more mental energy into you, and that investment creates a sense of your value in their minds. The power move here is to be selective, not secretive. Being secretive means hiding things and creating a false persona, which is exhausting and inauthentic. Being selective, on the other hand, is about being intentional with your time and energy. It's about having your own life, your own passions, your own priorities that don't always involve other people. It means you don't drop everything for a text message. It means sometimes you say, "I'm busy, but how about next week?" Making your energy a rare commodity doesn't mean being cold or aloof. It means you value yourself enough to not give your time and attention away freely to just anyone or anything. You become a person with depth, with a life that inspires curiosity. When you do choose to share your time, it becomes a gift, not an expectation. People will appreciate it more, listen more intently, and treat you with a newfound level of respect. They'll see you not just as available, but as valuable. So, take a step back and assess. Are you always on call? It might be time to introduce a little mystery. Cultivate your own garden. Focus on your goals, your hobbies, your well-being. Let your unavailability speak for your self-worth. You will be amazed at how people's perception of you transforms when they have to work a little to earn your presence. You become a puzzle they want to solve, a story they want to hear the next chapter of. That's the undeniable power of mystery. Have you ever felt that little jolt of satisfaction when someone says, "Oh, thank you, I couldn't have done it without you"? It feels good, right? It's almost like a confirmation that you matter, that you're a good person. What if I told you that this constant need to be helpful might be a trap? From a very young age, many of us are taught a simple, powerful equation. Being helpful equals being valuable. We get praised for sharing our toys, for helping with chores, for lending a hand. Society rewards the helper. We learn that our worth is tied to what we do for others. Our report cards praised us for being a helpful member of the class, and as adults, our performance reviews might highlight being a team player. It's everywhere. This isn't to say that helping people is a bad thing. Of course not. Kindness and compassion are cornerstones of a good life and a healthy society. The problem arises when being helpful becomes our primary source of self-worth. It's when we start believing that if we're not actively serving someone, we're not valuable. This conditioning can lead us down a difficult path, can create a deep-seated fear of saying no, because saying no feels like we're saying, "I don't care," or worse, "I'm not a good person." So we say yes to extra projects at work even when we're swamped. We say yes to helping a friend move even when our back is aching. Say yes to family obligations even when we're emotionally drained. We become the go-to person, the reliable one, the one who always shows up. And for a while, it works. We feel needed. We feel validated. But over time, the cracks start to show. That validation starts to feel less like a reward and more like a requirement. We begin to feel exhausted, overstretched, and spread thin. This is the fast track to burnout. You might start feeling a quiet resentment bubbling under the surface. You're helping everyone, but who's helping you? You might even notice that some people have come to expect your help, creating a sense of dependency where your support is no longer a gift, but an obligation. The most damaging part of this cycle is that it disconnects us from ourselves. We spend so much time and energy meeting the needs of others that we forget to check in with our own. What do I need? What do I want? What are my limits? These questions get buried under a mountain of shoulds and have-tos. So, how do we break free? We need a fundamental shift in our thinking. We need to reframe our understanding of worth. Here's the truth you need to internalize. Your worth is inherent. It's not transactional. You were born worthy. Your value as a human being is not something you have to earn through acts of service. It simply exists. You are valuable just because you are you. Think of it this way. A beautiful sunset doesn't have to do anything to be valuable. Its value is in its existence. A giant ancient tree isn't valuable because of the shade it provides. Its value is in its being. You are the same. Your worth isn't a currency you trade for approval. This doesn't mean you stop helping people. It means you start helping from a different place. Not from a place of desperation to prove your worth, but from a place of genuine abundance and choice. When you help because you want too, not because you feel you have too, the act itself becomes more authentic and joyful. It's the difference between giving a gift freely and paying a tax. Start by practicing small acts of self-prioritization. Say no to one small request this week. Take an hour for yourself without feeling guilty. Notice the discomfort that comes up and sit with it. Remind yourself, my worth is not on the line here. I am allowed to have boundaries. I'm allowed to have needs. Untangling this conditioning is a journey, not an overnight fix. It requires patience and a lot of self-compassion. But on the other side is a more sustainable, authentic, and joyful way of living, one where you can be a kind and helpful person without losing yourself in the process. Why do we keep finding ourselves in this exhausting cycle of giving, and giving? It's like we're on this never-ending treadmill thinking that our worth will somehow shine through in the eyes of others, right? But let us be real for a second. What if I told you that this whole system is rigged against us? It's not just about being nice or helpful. It's about how we often tie our self-worth to the validation we receive from others. Think about it. Have you ever gone out of your way to please someone, only to feel empty afterward? It's like pouring your heart into a cup with a hole in it. Instead of filling you up, it just drains you. We need to start recognizing that our value, dose, and tea depend on how much we give or how others see us. Instead, it's about embracing who we are, flaws and all, and understanding that our worth is inherent. So, let's explore how we can break free from this cycle and truly appreciate ourselves. No strings attached. Here's the hard truth. True, lasting self-worth doesn't come from a performance review. It's not a score you get from the outside world based on how much you sacrifice. It's an internal state of being. It's a quiet, unshakable knowing that you are inherently valuable, just as you are, right now, in this very moment. Your worth isn't tied to your productivity, your helpfulness, or your ability to please everyone around you. The real game changer happens when you start to detach from this need for external validation. Imagine for a second what that feels like. It's like you've been running a marathon you didn't even sign up for, and you finally give yourself permission to stop. You stop checking your phone for that text back. You stop overanalyzing every conversation, wondering if you said the right thing. You stop bending over backwards for people who wouldn't even step over a puddle for you. When you detach, you're not becoming cold or uncaring. You're becoming discerning. You're regaining your autonomy. You're taking back the pen and becoming the author of your own story, instead of letting others write your character's lines. This is where real peace is found. It's a quiet confidence that isn't loud or arrogant, but is deeply rooted. It's a power that comes not from controlling others, but from mastering yourself. This journey isn't about building walls. It's about building a foundation. A foundation so solid that the opinions of others are just weather patterns passing by. Some days are sunny with praise, some are stormy with criticism. But your house, your sense of self, remains unshaken. You start making choices based on what truly aligns with your values, not what you think will win you applause. And this brings me to the final, most crucial truth of all. Your presence should be earned, not expected. Let that sink in. Your time, your energy, your heart, these are precious gifts. They are not an unlimited public resource for anyone to tap into at will. The people who truly deserve to be in your life will understand and respect this. They will cherish your presence, not just tolerate it or take it for granted. Choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's sacred. It's the ultimate act of self-respect. It's honoring the beautiful, unique, and irreplaceable person that you are. It's about realizing that you were born worthy, and nothing and no one can ever take that away from you unless you allow them to. So today, I invite you to start reclaiming that power. Start by recognizing that your worth is non-negotiable. It comes from within. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If this message resonated with you, please give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our next conversation. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, take care of yourself.